So, welcome to the Nerdy Traveler. Today we are going to go to the second Sovietish memorial. We're going there a little early. It's not super weather, but we are going there also for me to test my new camera. But look what I found on my way out there. So we got off the 150 bus, which is the one that will take you closest to the place. And then you'll have to walk for about a kilometer. But look at this lovely villa that is empty and should be the new embassy of Zambia if it ever happens. But look at how beautiful this is. And also another place I found here, which is a little funny, and I will say to you that there will probably be a voiceover because I know nothing about what we are going to see, but there is a statue here in the middle of really nowhere, and no markings on it whatsoever. But it's a very beautiful statue of victory in a picture of in what you could say was a picture of Sovietish style, so in Sovietic style. So voiceover begins now.
On a quiet corner in Pankow stands a rather regal lady holding a crown and scepter like she's about to judge your fashion sense. This is Borussia, a plaster cast of a statue from the old Berlin Palace, brought to life by master craftsman Jürgen Liebe back in the late 70s. Now here's the nerdy bit. There are actually 4 of her. One greets you at the Humboldt Forum, another chills in Spandau, one lives quietly in a workshop, and this one, well, she's basically standing guard outside a plaster shop, probably wondering how she ended up here instead on a palace roof. To me, she's less a statue, more like a time traveler. A reminder that Berlin's history isn't just locked away in a museum. It pops up unexpectedly on a street corner, holding a crown like it's the most normal thing in the world.
We are going out today to take a look at the second Sovietish memorial. It's a little smaller than the other one, and it's a little bit different also. So this is why it's so interesting to see this. You take the 100 bus from Osloer Straße, it's the easiest, and then you walk from there.
There is something else we need to talk about. The villa that I showed you before. That was once a grand Gründerzeit mansion. Think 1880s flair, fancy stucco, and a proper place to sip your coffee while judging your neighbors. Over time, it was a restaurant, a retirement home, and even a base for the East German police and Stasi. Then came a fire in 1992, and today, let's just say it's more urban explorer chic than luxury living. Here's the kicker though. In 1998, the Republic of Zambia bought it for their Berlin embassy. Sounds glamorous, right? Except they never moved in. All that remains is the sign, Botschaft Zambia, hanging proudly on a burned-out ruin. It's like putting a 5-star hotel sign on a tent. For me, that's the charm. Berlin doesn't hide its layers. You stumble on a ruined villa with an embassy sign, and suddenly history feels wonderfully absurd.
So the first indicator of that something is coming is two columns on each side, like a welcoming gate, standing with sculptures of eternal flames on top of it. And they also have the laurel in bronze. So sculptures of bronze of eternal flames and laurels. And also it says in Russian on one of them and in German on the other one, the hero to always remember. So let me show you. This is what will meet you. That's the first. And then you walk down this road. So like the one in Treptow, this has symmetry as its key feature. Means there is a central axe. In this axe you'll see something big in the end, so that you have a vision to walk for. On both sides is symmetrically placed buildings or graves. As you can see, the sculptures here, is much more somber. This is where the two others are there to remind you for the hero and the might of Russia. This or Soviet Union. This is much more about mourning the loss of the hero. So this has a much more somber tone, a much more sorrow tone in it, and you will also see that in all the sculptures that are here, which all depict sorrow, people in sorrow. Here you have one of the examples. as we talked about before, this is a very somber place. So it's built in a valley, so there's not much wind here. The calmness of the trees, you hear the rustle of the trees here in the wind, but not much else. And it demands your silence here, which is one of the things that you have to acknowledge. Now, this is a mourning place, and it is very clear, and people are still coming here and mourning their soldiers, and it's also very visible. There are flowers, and there are lights standing around, so like the candles that are lit or was lit. And the central statue is that of a mother mourning her dead son, with the laurel behind his head, so that he's glorified with the saint statue. So let's see that one. Yeah, that is a statue of mourning mother, piety, so to say. I love these Now there is also out here the leftovers of a, a work camp, forced labor camp from the Second World War for the armor production. Uh, that there is only a bunker left, and it's lying free in the park here behind me in Schönholzer. And it is interesting to see, but it's not something I want to go in and film. So I think for the time being, this will be, as you saw, this is the second memorial of the three. I will do one for the smallest one, and that is probably also the most known. It's but that will nearly only be a short, because it's a so small memorial for the looked at the Russian. That's the one in Tiergarten. That's the last one. It's the most famous one. But for now, this concludes the trip to the second and most emotional filled Sowjetische Mahnmal Memorial here in Berlin.
If you enjoyed this trip to the Soviet Memorial in Schönheide, then hit the like button. Leave us a comment about where you want us to go next. Share it with a fellow nerdy traveler. And most importantly, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And as always, stay curious, stay nerdy, and do keep exploring.